Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Something happened to me the other day, and this tire right here, see how it's got the big split and explosion deal? Yeah, that happened to me the other day. I was driving down the road, my tire exploded. It sounded like a gunshot going off. I said, what the heck? I thought something in the bed of my truck fell. Ended up being a blown tire because I started feeling a bunch of vibration and shaking going on. I called my wife, told her I was gonna be 15 minutes later coming home. She said, why? I said, well, my tire blew up. She said, it's only gonna take you 15 minutes. And I said, yeah, you know, I just gotta jack it up and change it right quick. But, and she said, well, that'd be a good video idea for you to, you know, kind of just show people kind of what you keep on your car in case something like that does happen. You won't be down but a few minutes. So let's go ahead and get started on that. I'm gonna start by going off what I keep in my personal vehicles. And then I'll show you what I kind of keep on my work truck. The reason I'm gonna do two separate deals is because my work truck, I keep a heck of a lot more in that thing than you would a regular vehicle, but it might give you some ideas on what you might keep in yours if you ever think you might run into a situation where you need it. All right, so I realize most cars come with spare tires, and they come with a little tool, like a little lug wrench deal to take your lugs off, and they come with a little scissor jack and all that stuff. But I tell you, you can get these breaker bars right here at Harbor Freight. They're like $10, or they used to be. I don't know what they cost now. But 10 bucks, you throw it in the back of your car or under your seat or something like that, and I guarantee you the day will come you will need to change a tire, and this will make it millions and millions of times easier, because a lot of the things that come with the car, they're not long enough and you can't get enough leverage, and lug nuts are really tight. I mean, most of them are 80 to 120 foot-pounds. So that's pretty tight when you got something this big you're trying to pull on. You got this thing right here, and you got the leverage you need to break it loose. And like I said, you got to get the right socket too, so you better check on that. But I always keep this in my cars, so when I do have a blown tire or a tire that needs to be plugged or whatever, I can easily, quickly and efficiently get that thing broke loose. Same with the jack. I'm gonna touch my camera periodically so I can make sure I'm still in the camera, so that's what I'm doing if you see me reach up. But same with the jack. Most cars come with scissor jacks and things like that, but I don't know if you guys have ever used one. I have, and they are an absolute disaster. I don't like using them. They're a pain in the butt. They're hard to get ratcheting, especially once they get older. They get a little corrosion in the threads and all this. And if you're in a situation, first off, you're probably already mad because you've got a flat tire and you're probably going somewhere where you needed to be there immediately. Having these tools like this in your car will just make it thousands of times easier and faster, and it's a more pleasant experience in a not so pleasant situation. So I like having a bottle jack because you can extend this thing out. It's got a nice stable base. You might want to keep a block of, like a 2x6 or something, like just a block of wood to set this thing to give it a good platform if you had to pull off the side of the road and you happen to be in dirt or mud or something like that. This makes it way easier. Like I say, you can adjust these up and down wherever you need them to go. They lift a lot of weight. Just make sure you're jacking from the right point. You need to Google that. Something else I keep, and I want to mention this right here, is tire plugs. I keep tire plugs in my car and all my cars because there's so many nails and things like that, and you never know. You're gonna go to the store or something like that, you'll go in there, everything will be fine, you come back out, your tire's flat. There's gonna be a screw or bolt or something like that in there. I also keep like needle nose pliers, or just some kind of pliers. You don't need any specific plier, you just need some pliers. And the reason for that is a lot of times you get a screw or something in there, and it's easy to get some pliers or something, just pop that thing out. Pull, you know, you pull the screw, pull the bolt out, whatever, and then you run your reamer tool through there, and then you get your plug in there. And these are not a permanent fix. This is just to get you to where you can pump the tire up and get wherever you need to be going. And I want to note this too, a lot of tire a lot of tire companies, like tire dealerships, places like that, once you've plugged the tire, they will not patch it for you. So that's one thing you need to look at. How fast is your tire leaking? Because if you don't want to buy a new tire, you might not want to do this. I personally changed my own tires because, like I said, that tire blew up the other night, and it was like 8 o'clock at night. I was working an hour away. I got home, I needed to go back and work that same day. I had a full day of work. I couldn't afford any downtime. So I was able to just bring my stuff home, change that tire out, and get back going. You know, it only took me maybe 15 minutes to actually swap the tire out because I had a spare with me. But I actually I keep tires in my shop. I actually went ahead and just changed the tire, and I was going in 30 minutes or something like that, ready to go. So So you need to keep that in mind. If you do plug a tire, a lot of places won't patch it. They'll try to sell you a new tire. They say it's for liability reasons, but I think they just want to sell you a new tire because, I don't know. I'm not a tire professional, but I don't really see how this could impact anything. Unless it was like a sidewall or something. That's a whole different story. That brings us to the next point of having an inflator or a tire compressor or something like that. Because if you do run over a nail, you're not going to have a horrible leak. It's just going to be a slow leak. If you get a tire inflator or air compressor or something like that, you can pump your tire up enough to where you can get where you need to go, like a tire place or whatever, for example. And they'll normally patch your tire if you haven't plugged it, like I said before. So if you can just get enough air in it to get you where you're going, this is a must-have in your car. Another thing I always keep around, I keep a pocket knife, but I just got this to show you guys. I always keep a knife in my pocket, so I always have that. There will be multiple situations where you will run into needing a knife, and I don't know if you carry a pocket knife or you don't. If you don't, you need to throw this in your car and keep it there, because you'll never know when you need something like this. Especially, you use it to cut these plugs off. If you can't press it in there all the way and you have a little bit sticking out, you can cut it off with that. That's just an example. There's millions of uses for a knife, as you guys know. And another thing I want to go over is jumper cables. You never know when your battery's going to die. They die at the worst possible moments. Here recently, I've seen, when I go to pick my little girls up from school, I've seen a lot of people, their battery will die and they're holding up the entire school line, and nobody has jumper cables. Well, if you have jumper cables, you can help get them out of your way, so you can go on about your day, or you can help somebody out, or if your battery dies, you got them. I've only personally had a battery die one time in my life, and this is before I kept things in my cars. This is a long time ago. I didn't have jumper cables. Nobody around had jumper cables. Nobody was really willing to help. It was kind of a pain in the butt. I ended up having to call my dad. Luckily, my mom and dad were actually both nearby at a store, so they were able to help me out and get me jumped off. But ever since that day, always keep jumper cables. And they always have jumper packs, those battery packs and all that type of stuff. But most of the time, if you got cables, everybody's got, there's cars everywhere, so somebody's more than willing to pull up and help get you, especially if you're blocking the road or something like that. They'll be more than willing to help you. Another thing I want to mention that I don't have right here, I got millions of hammers. I could probably just grab one off the shelf, but I'll just go ahead and tell you, is a dead blow hammer. If you don't, or a rubber hammer, something rubber, you don't want a hard steel hammer or sledge or nothing like that. Reason for that is tires have steel belts in them, and I don't know if you guys have ever tried to run this reaming tool through your hole, because you got to ream the hole before you actually put your plug in, because it roughens it up and give it texture for the plug to grab. Anyways, a lot of the times you can't easily press that thing in there, so you need to have a rubber hammer or a dead blow or something like that. And I always just hold it and I'll beat that thing in there and then rub it up in and out a couple times, then it's ready for your plug. But that's just a little quick and easy thing that I found that helps speed things up when I have a flat tire. There are a lot of other things you can have, such like stuff with traction, like if you're in snow and all that. I live in South Carolina. We don't really have that much snow, and the snow that we do have is, I'm not going to be getting stuck unless I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing, which that happens from time to time. But this is what I mainly keep in my personal vehicles, because it's all pretty affordable stuff. I mean, you can get these inflators, I've seen them for 15 bucks before. This is a really good one. I don't know if you can see it. I got this one off of Amazon. It says it's Backlife or something. I think it might have been 30 or 40 bucks. But what I like about it, it's got a light built into it, and it's 12 volt, plugs into your sockets. And it also has this setting, it goes up to like 140 PSI or something like that. I don't remember, 130 PSI. It's important to me because my tires on my truck go up to 80 PSI, so I like having that extra, pressure, because a lot of them don't go that high. But what I like about it is you can actually just set the pressure you want. Like say I wanted it to be 80 PSI, you can actually set this thing to 80 PSI and walk away. And these things are slow. It's an inflator, it's not very powerful, none of that stuff, but hey, 10 minutes inflating your tires is a heck of a lot better than sitting there waiting on somebody to come save you, or having to pay somebody 50 or 100 bucks to tow you somewhere, something crazy like that. But like I said, bottle jack, this bottle jack's kind of not cheap. You can go to Harbor Freight and get them. I don't know how much they are anymore, probably 50 or 60 bucks. But it's day and night. Like, when you go to use one of those scissor jacks and then you get one of these bottle jacks, you're gonna see that this is the way to go, and you're glad you got it. Now that I've kind of covered what we keep in our personal vehicles, I'll go to my work truck. This is gonna be overkill, but you'll kind of see. I just want to give you guys some ideas in case, in case you want to keep it in your car. I don't know. I think it's a good idea to have in mind, but so let's go to that. This right here is called a farm jack, and I throw this in the bed of my truck every single day before I leave the house. The reason I don't leave it out in the elements in the back of my truck, you know, kind of exposed or whatever, is because you see it's got this rust on it. I tried that in the past, and that little mechanism down here got some rust on it. I had to do a bunch of sanding and oiling to get it work. But you can't really use this on a regular car. I've used this before my truck because I have a hitch on the front and a hitch on the back. I know those are not safe lid points, but when I'm in a hurry or an emergency, I'll do anything it takes to get, you know, get going again, because time is money when you got a business, right? And you don't like being broke down, but that's another story. Mostly what I use this jack for is my trailers. That tire right there is the one that blew the other day. The one I showed you to begin with, the whole dang sidewall blew out of it. But I use this jack right here. You can see trailers have a lot of points where you can jack from. You can do the back, sides, anywhere exposed like that. And it's really nice because it can lift 7,000 pounds. I know I've lifted way more than that with it before. But it's real nice because if I have if like a whole load of logs in that thing, you know, 10, 12,000 pounds plus the trailer's 4,000, I can use this jack, just lift one side of it up, get one tire off the ground. I've also, you know, just an idea for you guys, you can get a block of wood or something and put it under your other tire. If your other tire is still good and hadn't blown too, you can actually just put a piece of wood under that and drive up on it, and it'll lift your trailer up enough so you can get that tire off. But I always throw this jack in my truck for the trailer and the jack from the hitches and all that. But let's move on to the next thing. So here's toolbox number one. As you can see, I got plenty of sockets and ratchets, and I got full sets of wrenches all the way up to I think 1.5 inches in here. I got plenty of impact sockets there. I got more wrenches, full sets there, more impact sockets. I got a tarp so I don't have to lay in the mud if I'm working on something. I got, in this toolbox right here, I got 1/2 inch impacts and drills and all the type of stuff you need to work on, whatever you needed to. Extension cords, wheel chocks in case you're jacking your vehicle up, or if you're on a steep incline or something, you can keep your car from rolling around. I pretty much keep most of the tools in here that I need in case I have a breakdown. You know, I got adjustable wrenches and pliers and stuff like that. Just in case I have a breakdown or something, I have most of the tools I need to get back going pretty quick, unless it's some major repair. And then that's when I take it back in my shop and fix it. But let's move on to the inside of my truck, and it is a mess, excuse me, but I need the stuff that's in it every day. So as I said, it was a mess, don't judge me. But I got some hydraulic fluid, got my pull bar that I was showing you earlier that I keep in all my cars. This is kind of necessary. This is for my business stuff. It ain't gonna get me anywhere if my truck breaks down or something tears up. But got a couple sets of jumper cables hidden in here. I got an air compressor, and I run this off my inverter. I hook an inverter up to my truck so I can get the 120 volt. This thing's not fast, but it's faster than the Inflator. I also have an Inflator over there too, but it's just a little bit faster, more convenient. You know, it gets me going quicker. And this right here, it's a bottle of peroxide, but I put Dawn dish detergent and water in this, and that's if I have a tire that's leaking air. I can just spray this on it, and you'll see some suds coming up, and then you know where you need to plug it. Got my air hose. I got plenty of straps. I'll have to go to the other side to show you all that, but I got plenty of straps in here for strapping stuff down or connecting to something. Got a couple 100 feet of rope in here. That's for my business stuff too. I don't really use that for getting me out of any kind of situation, but I got some ponchos down in there for when it rains. I got plenty of tow straps down. I hope you can see down in there that yellow stuff. There's straps down in there for towing and pulling and all that type of stuff. I know this is not a good spot to put this, but this goes in my front seat floor right here. It's the easiest place to grab, and it's the place that I have the most room in. But got me a big winch in here, and I can slide this on the front hitch of my truck whenever I get stuck, or if I need to rip something out of the ground, or if somebody else gets stuck, I can always use this. This is especially nice to have. That's the reason I know it's in, like I said, a bad spot, but I always keep it in here because I never know when I need it. And if I do need it, nothing can replace this except for somebody else with a truck, which is never around, you know. But this thing has got me out of so many situations. I've gotten stuck before, and like I'll show you in my other toolbox, I keep like snatch blocks and things like that, and or pulleys and all that type of stuff. But this thing has saved me so many times. I put this connector on the front, and I slide it on the hitch on the front of my truck. I just plug it up like that, and I'm ready to go. Here's my tire patch kit that I keep in here. There's my inverter I was talking about. Here's the pliers that I use. You can use needle nose or whatever, but I find these work, especially if you got a big, I've ran over some bolts before, like big bolts. I don't know how the heck all that stuff gets in the road, but it does. And I've used these to rip some big stuff out of my tires. And here's my little tire, my little reamer, my plug kit there. Here's another air hose. Lug nuts. Oh yeah, I remember a long time ago, something busted my tire and fluid and actually messed my dang lug nuts up. And it broke the stud and all that. That was a big pain in the butt. I was mad about that, but got some tire plugs, got plenty of chain. Here's the hammer I use too. I keep one of these hammers in all my cars. For beating what I was talking about earlier when I was beating the reamer in the hole. This is handy to have. Got chains and all that stuff. You can keep a flashlight in your car. This thing don't even work. The battery's dead in it. But the reason I didn't mention that is because most people carry their cell phone with them all the time, and every cell phone I've ever seen now has a light on it. So I didn't even say to keep that in your car, because I'm pretty sure if you got a phone, you always got it on you. That's how that works, isn't it? I got some rain jackets that I keep clean up in that plastic bag. I got another rain jacket here. It's my winch control. It's just a bunch of stuff. But I know all this looks like a cluttered mess, but I know everything that's in here. And when I need it, you know, I've got it. So I ain't worried about that. I got a choker cable in here, and I got cables are nice to have. A lot of people don't like using rope over cables because cables can snap and all that. But as long as your cable's in good shape, cables are the way to go. They hold a lot of weight and they're real strong. They do take up a lot more space than rope does, though. But I've used that cable hundreds of times probably, and it's got me out of some situations, and it's got other people out of situations too. Let's move on to the next toolbox. This is toolbox number 2. Right here, I normally keep a big pile of straps right there, but you saw a bunch of those in the truck because I get lazy sometimes, and instead of opening my toolbox and lining them back up, I just sling them in there because I know I'm going to use them again anyway. Got lots of bungee cords because I use those all the time. Right here, I have a set of those right there, and I'll lift that up and show you in a second, but I keep 2 sets of these. These are called traction pads. They're like 4 feet long pieces of plastic, and if you sink your tire up in the ground, I'll show you in a minute and explain it, but if you sink your tire up in the ground, you can actually get one of those pads and throw it under your tire, and your vehicle can drive up on it. It's real nice and handy to have. I don't keep those in our regular cars because they take up so much space. I keep them in my work truck though. I'll show you that, kind of give you an idea of what it is. You might want to keep one in your car if you're prone to getting stuck. Here's those big snatch blocks I was telling you about at pulleys. That's what I use in my winch and my cables and all that. Got a couple D-rings in here. Got plenty of chain. You saw the chain that I keep in there. That's what I use to strap all my equipment down with. And I got a set of coveralls right here. You can see those get lots of use. I haven't ran into a need for them yet, but I do have them if I need them. Got some more ratchet straps and stuff like that. So here's these traction pads I was telling you about. These things are a lifesaver. They're plastic, and they're really hard plastic. They have these little nipples that stick up. You can see there's a bunch of them. But say your tire is stuck up in the ground. Let's say your tire's sunk in some mud or something like that. You can't get any traction. I'm not going to jam it under my tire because it's kind of a pain to get back out. But you just slam that thing under there, and you know you're in some mud. Your tire's stuck. You can kick the thing under your tire, and then when you give your car gas, you know, to try to get out of the hole, your tire will actually grab all these little nipples sticking up, and it'll drive up on there. And I have 2 sets of them. Like I said, I have gotten really stuck before, and you can see these things have plenty of use. This one's busted, but don't let that deter you from it, because I've had these for probably 10 years and I've used the heck out of them. But the reason I had 2 sets is so I can get 2 long sections, because I get in mud a lot, and I can get 2 long sections on each side of my truck and get right out. If I'm ever really stuck, I use these first, and these normally get me out, but if they won't, then I have to break out the winch and all that, and it's more time consuming. But these are fast, because like I say, all I gotta do, I keep them right here in the back of my truck, and all I gotta do is pull them out, throw them under the tire, and go. As always, guys, I hope you all got something useful out of that. I hope I was able to show you something you didn't know. And that being said, I like showing people things, but I also like learning things. So if there's something that you guys know about that I didn't go over, that I don't know about, please leave in the comments and let me know, because I love learning things like that, or about gadgets and all this type of stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys in the next one.